Right now at 5, first responders spent yesterday in training in the event of a full-scale emergency.
And after a hot day today, we do have a line of storms moving in later on this evening.
Plus, construction around Block 22 in Pittsburgh is beginning to wrap up. We'll hear from a few business owners about the effect construction has had.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Yes, and it's going to be a wonderful Thursday here. We've got Lindsay with us for the rest of the week. And we always have a good time when she visits us on the mornings.
I think they are entertained by my deliriousness. I'm very sleepy, but today is going to be a good day.
Yes.
Hot, if you like the heat, it's great for you. I am not a fan, but temperatures getting up to the upper 80s, record-breaking highs.
In October?
I know.
Oh my gosh.
It's been hot this season, but temperatures right now in the 50s. We can go ahead and take a look outside. Partly cloudy skies. As of right now, most of the rain showers have passed. Now 61 in Joplin and 58 in Pittsburgh, so we're warming up. Again, it's going to be above average today, record-breaking highs. Now we've had a few showers in some of our northern counties, a little bit of rainfall near Garnett and Mound City and Girard as well, but those showers have started to dissipate, and we're really not looking at any more rain until later on this evening. So currently, some still partly cloudy skies from those showers earlier. Temperature 61, winds are calm, but they're out of the east, southeast, so they're going to continue to shift and strengthen as we move through the day. Now, winds are, for the most part, calm, but we do have wind gusts up to 20-25 miles per hour in some areas, especially out near Mount Vernon, Carthage, Yates Center, and Iola, Chanute as well. And those winds, again, are just going to continue to strengthen ahead of that front. Now, we've already been increased to a level 1 out of 5 risk, marginal risk for some of our northern counties, Woodson County, Allen County, and a couple more of those far northwest counties, excuse me. Now, those storms as they move in will be stronger, but not really a massive severe threat, not happening until after about 8-9 p.m. And then we're going to see those continue until about 2 to 3 in the morning. I'll have those details coming up though.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, the Joplin Regional Airport held a full-scale emergency response exercise yesterday. The event simulated a real-life emergency and lasted for several hours. Event organizers say the training puts them on the same level of safety as a bigger metropolitan airport.
We're trying to maintain that, you feel just as safe flying in here as you do LAX. Like I said, because we're held to the same standards of them. Everything that we do when we go through our inspections is to make sure that you flying into this commercial airport is the same as flying into any commercial airport in the country, whether we're small or whether we're big.
The exercise is part of ongoing efforts to ensure the readiness of local emergency responders and airport personnel in case of an aviation-related emergency. Well, from residents to realtors to city leaders, Pittsburgh community members gathered together to focus on housing needs. Now, the meeting was an open house forum for the city and consulting firm Nova Gardick to gather community input on new housing needs for Pittsburgh. Now, it's been 10 years since Pittsburgh last completed a housing needs assessment, and a lot has changed. City leaders asked participants to describe the current state of the housing market. Now, they discussed housing related needs and specific barriers preventing Pittsburgh from meeting those needs. One barrier, the current cost to build.
There's a problem with new construction because it's very expensive. A lot of buyers want into a new home but just can't quite pay the price that's required.
Well, the consulting firm plans to take feedback from the open house and conduct surveys on local housing stock and eventually putting together a new housing assessment recommendation. Well, the Joplin Health Department held a free car seat safety class. Now, they taught the class how to choose the right car seat for the child's height and how to choose a safe car seat brand. Now, the class was open to all parents, grandparents, and caregivers to learn the correct way to place a child in a car seat, especially in the winter months when the child may be bundled up.
Hook them into their car seat with no extra padding or blankets around them, and then put the blankets, tuck them in around them once they've been belted into the seat belt of the car seat.
Now, during the winter months, she recommends putting the child in the car seat harness, then putting their coat on backwards on the outside of the harness. The scaffolding along Block 22 in Pittsburgh is no longer wrapped around businesses. It was put there to prevent accidents from falling cement. Now, businesses say it looks much better and customers are returning, but that wasn't the case during the construction. KOAM's Lonnie Walton takes us to downtown Pittsburgh for the story.
In the month of September, my business was down 53%, which is a lot.
Melissa Lewis is the owner of Poppy May. She says she's got a lot of help with her business during the Block 22 construction, but she says she's still suffering.
No one can make up for the loss that we experienced as small business owners with that much going on.
Co-owner of Toast, Roger Horton, says some customers didn't even know they were open.
You see all that scaffolding up, unless you see 5 people walk in, why would you know it's open, So
Not only did it put strain on a lot of businesses, parking was another issue.
the hassle of, well, I got to find a parking space around the corner because all the spaces are filled up with construction work.
Students who live on a block say they love the open space.
Feels pretty good because parking's back and everything. But now it's open and the sunlight's shining down on the open door.
And Lewis leaves us with a few words of wisdom.
You want small businesses to stay in your community, you have to support them. You have to shop them.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, Lewis says she'll participate in various community activities to bring more business to her store. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, trouble continues for Boeing as their latest contract offer has been rejected. Plus, former President Trump and Vice President Harris continue to hit key battleground states ahead of the November election. And Lindsay Gaffney will have a full look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. The State Department says it's issuing a record number of passports to Americans. On Wednesday, the State Department reported it has processed 24.5 million passports in 2024. Now, that is a 500,000 more than last year and the third straight record-breaking year. The State Department is partly crediting the boost of its new online passport renewal system, which launched in September. Now, the department says more than 1 million Americans have issued it to renew their passports. And the department also says in the coming years, it hopes to open 6 new passport facilities across the U.S. Well, a major airline is reportedly testing out a system to keep passengers in their place. According to reports, American Airlines says it's trying out new technology to catch travelers who are trying to board a plane before their group is called. Now, reports say the airline is testing out an audible signal that will alert the gate attendant whenever a passenger tries to cut their place in line. Anyone who attempts to board early will be sent back and will have to wait until their group is called. The new system is reportedly currently available at airports in Virginia and New Mexico. And Amazon pumps up its Prime membership with a new perk. The e-commerce company says members can save 10 cents a gallon at nearly 7,000 gas stations across the country. Amazon says the perk will be available at all BP, Amoco, and AMPM locations. Customers looking to save a little at the pump must link their Prime membership to their Earnify account. The company says the new perk is part of its goal of adding more value to its Prime service. Well, Boeing is buckling up for a bumpier ride as striking machinists voted to continue their time out on picket lines. Union members voted against a new contract offer after rejecting an initial one last month that first set off the strike. Gary Baumgarten reports on the latest.
Boeing bracing for more turbulence after machinists voted Wednesday to reject the company's latest contract offer, prompting the aircraft maker's largest union to continue its strike.
There's much more work to do. We will push to get back to the table We will push for the members' demands as quickly as we can, and we remain on strike.
Members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers voting down the contract by 64%. The latest version would have included pay raises of 35% over 4 years, but the union had been calling for 40% over 3 years.
They could do better than that. The Boeing company has the money. They're playing broke.
Oh, I rejected it completely, horribly.
Workers have been on picket lines for the last 6 weeks, but outrage is growing. The new contract did not offer a traditional pension plan that workers were aiming to have restored since it was lost a decade ago.
You know, no pension, no planes.
I'm bitter about it. We're all bitter about it. It felt like they stabbed us.
With union members out of factories, Boeing can't assemble some of its top planes to fulfill airline orders before voting on the contract had finished. Boeing on Wednesday reported a third quarter loss of more than $6 billion.
I love building airplanes. That's been a passion of mine. I've been doing it for almost 10 years. I wouldn't have it any other way. So I would love to be able to go back to work sometime soon. In the meantime, I have to be able to work. I have to still be able to take care of my family.
While many union members say they won't tolerate the latest offer, some remain hopeful that more change could come. They rejected the 35% pay raise over 4 years, but that offer went up from last month's 25% increase over the same time frame. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Lindsay with a look at your forecast.
Well, our high temperature is getting up to the upper 80s. It's going to be a hot day, but we do have a cold front moving in later on tonight after 8 p.m. and continuing till just before 3 a.m. So we've got this window of rain chances, 20% rain chances from 8 to 3 a.m. and hopefully going to give us some much needed rain accumulation, starting off with a level 1 out of 5 risk in some of our northern counties. So we're going to see some thunderstorms, at least in the far northern counties, and then showers as this line of storms moves southeast.
With less than 2 weeks to Election Day, both presidential candidates continue to hit the crucial battleground states to win over undecided voters. Now, yesterday, former President Donald Trump campaigned in Georgia, where the race is considered a toss-up, according to recent CBS News polls. Vice President Kamala Harris took questions at a CNN town hall last night, where she reacted to recent comments from Trump's former cabinet members, describing him as a, quote, fascist. Now, the town hall took place after Trump declined to do a second debate. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
In a CNN town hall, Vice President Kamala Harris pressed on how her presidency would move the country forward less than 2 weeks until the election. Harris responding to voter questions on inflation.
We will have a national ban on price gouging.
Immigration.
We have to have a secure border, and we have to have a comprehensive pathway for citizenship.
And the conflict in the Middle East.
I do believe we have an opportunity to end this war.
Harris also going after former President Donald Trump.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Seizing on new comments Trump's ex-chief of staff, John Kelly, made to the New York Times.
He's certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
He's just putting out a 911 call to the American people.
Trump brought out the fireworks in battleground Georgia.
I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families.
But his more charged comments came on social media, slamming Harris as a threat to democracy and his former chief of staff, Kelly, as a lowlife and a bad general whose advice in the White House he no longer sought. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now today, former President Trump heads west with events planned in Arizona and Nevada. Vice President Harris returns to Georgia for a star-studded rally that will also be the first time she and former President Barack Obama take the campaign stage together. Now, the spotlight on Georgia this week comes as state officials there say they successfully thwarted an cyber attack on the state's absentee voter website this month. Authorities believe the attempt may have ties to a foreign nation. Now here's Lindsay with a quick look at your forecast.
We've got temperatures in the upper 80s today, sunny skies, and then as we move into the evening, early evening around 8-9 p.m., we're going to start to see this line of storms pushing in, and that's going to continue to move southeast. And we have a level 1 out of 5 threat, especially in those northern counties. So we could see some stronger thunderstorms as this line of storms moves in later on this evening. Well, taking a look downtown Pittsburgh, we're looking good, staying dry, but we do have some clouds still out there in the area. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Now, yesterday we got up to low 80s and our low was down in the lower 50s. So we're warming up. We're getting up to the upper 80s today, probably breaking some records. Yesterday's record set back in 2022, but only about 86. So if our forecast is 88, it is going to be a hot one today. Now, we've had a few showers already passing by Girard, Mound City, just north of Pittsburgh as well. A few showers already dropped some rain, but other than that, we're going to stay mostly clear today. Winds do pick up 20-25 miles per hour by about 9 a.m., even getting up to 30 miles per hour in Sedan, Yates Center, Independence, Nowata. And then we're just going to strengthen as we head into the afternoon. Heading home from work or school about 4 p.m. today, winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour, and then strengthening even more than that as we head into the evening. Just ahead of that front, winds are going to be very strong, up to 45 miles per hour, especially in those northwestern counties. Now that line of storms moves in along that boundary, winds die down and they'll drop after that as well. So we're looking pretty good. A light breeze through the weekend, but temperatures today are brutal. Upper 80s, low 90s. These are record highs for this late in October, but we do have that cold front moving in tonight, which is going to cool us down at least for the weekend. So those storms start to roll in after about 8-9 p.m. Temperatures only getting down to mid 70s by midnight. So much warmer than it was yesterday. Our lows only getting down to mid to lower 60s, excuse me. And as we're heading into the day, those showers and clouds clear out, by noon. We're already in the low 80s, upper 70s, so pretty hot. Upper 80s for our highs, low 90s. But again, sunny skies, so we've got this window of a nice day. And then by 8-9 p.m., we're going to start to see that line of storms pushing in to our northwestern counties, Yates Center, and surrounding areas. Now, we've got this low risk that goes all the way down to Chanute. So in Woodson County, Allen County, low risk, level 1 out of 5. We could see some thunderstorms, low end severe thunderstorms, but still some strong thunderstorms. Now, as it pushes in, makes it all the way down to Parsons, Girard, Pittsburgh, maybe even getting close to Columbus, Nevada, Fort Scott. Starts to fall apart. As you can see, we're more looking at widespread showers, maybe still a couple of isolated thunderstorms. And then by the time it makes it into the Joplin Metro and south of Columbus, this is about midnight to 1 a.m., we're really only looking at some widespread rain showers, and then it'll continue to push out, clearing completely by about 3 to 4 a.m. And then we've got a sunny weekend ahead, and again, much, much cooler. So highs of 88, 90 tomorrow, up to upper 70s, lows on Saturday, low 70s. Then we do warm up by next week back into the 80s, and we've got another cold front starting Wednesday and into Thursday. There is still a window Thursday afternoon and evening that is going to be clear, but those scattered shower chances continue all through next weekend. Now let's look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, want to maintain good brain function as you get older? Well, the answer is simple, according to a new study by the American Academy of Neurology. They identify 8 things you should do to reduce your risk of stroke, dementia, and depression. Stay active, eat better, and maintain a healthy weight. Don't smoke, get plenty of sleep, and control your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. Limiting the number of fast food restaurants in a neighborhood can lower childhood obesity. A study in England looked at a town that banned new fast food restaurants from being built. Childhood obesity rates dropped nearly by 5%. Now, the study says easy access to fast food can contribute to health inequalities in low-income neighborhoods. And scientists say they've found a new warning sign that could help identify a third of all undiagnosed concussions. A study published in Diagnostics found that athletes sometimes quickly shake their head back and forth after taking a hit to the head. 92% of football players who exhibited the head shake were later diagnosed with concussions. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, Joplin residents had the opportunity to experience life in a low-income simulation.
After a warm, sunny day, we finally have some storm chances moving in later on this evening.
Plus, Joplin students receive a lesson on why it's important to get out and vote.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29, just coming up on 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Yes, and it's Thursday here, October 24th, and it really doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't.
No.
This heat, we've been above average pretty consistently this season. Not really going away until end of November, early December,
which is
when
just
we start to cool
unbelievable.
Down.
Unbelievable.
It's not fun. I love the temperatures that were in the 60s and 70s.
Oh,
fantastic.
Sure.
But today we're getting up to the upper 80s. That's just, we can go ahead and take a look outside. Temperatures right now in the upper 50s, low 60s. Some partly cloudy skies. Looking pretty good. We've had a few showers already passing by. Not a ton of accumulation, but still out near Mound City and Girard, north of Pittsburgh. A little bit of rainfall out there, not a ton though. And those showers have completely cleared out. So we're looking good for the rest of the day. Current conditions still mostly cloudy, calm winds, though we do have gusts still up to 20 miles per hour already this morning. And they're starting to shift out of the east, southeast. And then as we get into midday, winds are out of the south. Now we've got a level 1 out of 5 risk, a marginal risk that has been increased to for our storms later on this evening. And that kind of cuts through Chanute, so Woodson County, Allen County, and some of our far northern counties, Coffee County. And those storms are going to start after 9 p.m. tonight. As you can see, we got that 20% chance all the way until about 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And then it clears out for your Friday. We're going to have a sunny weekend and much cooler weekend, but we'll go over the details of the storms later on.
All right, see you soon. Well, the organization One Joplin hosted a poverty simulation yesterday. It gave anyone who wanted it the opportunity to experience a simulated month of living in a low-income situation. Now, in the simulation, every 15 minutes represented a week of living in poverty. The participants were given a family situation, and based on that, they had to navigate everyday life like budgeting for groceries and transportation. More than 80 people participated in the event.
You can help individuals to prosper in our community and ask questions, be empathetic about what their situation is, but also talk to policymakers, to our city council members, and talk to them about barriers that we may have in front of our low-income individuals.
Now they hope to make it an annual event. Well, this Halloween, registered sex offenders in Missouri will no longer be required to post a sign stating no candy or treats at this residence. Now, the signs were previously part of a statute that also requires sex offenders to avoid Halloween contact with children, remain in their home from 5 to 10:30 p.m., and leave all outside residential lighting off that night. But a U.S. District Judge ruled this month that the sign requirement violates the First Amendment by forcing compelled speech. Now, the Jasper County Sheriff's Department says it has a resource on its website that may help families feel better about where they trick or treat this year.
But required by Megan's Law, all that information is public knowledge, so they can literally go on to and see every sex offender in Jasper County and see where they live.
Now, this year's change to Missouri's Halloween law has some parents concerned. One mother we spoke with says it's taking away an additional protection for children. Well, Special Olympics of Southeast Kansas hosted its second ever Senior Unified Olympics in Pittsburgh. The event is a partnership with Special Olympics, Medical Lodges Incorporated, and Dr. Covert Miller's Therapeutic Recreation Interventions for Older Adults class at Pittsburgh State University. Now, athletes 45 years and up were paired with a partner from a senior home around the area. Anna volunteered to participate in low-impact sporting events, which included cornhole, bocce, and relay walks.
Definitely just helps with getting them out of the buildings, getting that socialization and just opportunity to get some physical activity and just camaraderie with others. So just great opportunity overall.
Yesterday's event theme was Through the Decades. Now, with Election Day now less than 2 weeks away, some teachers and students at Joplin High School are working to make sure their peers understand why voting is so important. KOAM's Anthony Saviello sits down with them to find out how.
Trying to learn about the U.S. government can be a challenge.
Sometimes we face students who just don't know very much about our government and government systems.
Joplin social studies teacher Andrew Seavey acknowledges the difficulties that come with teaching students about politics.
The Electoral College can be a challenge to understand in and of itself, so teaching that is challenging. So I have a map on my wall that shows the electoral votes for each state.
That same map can be found just a few doors down, where the Joplin Student Council is working to get students excited about voting.
We are creating a ballot so that our students can vote on the actual amendments and propositions that will be on the ballot on Election Day, as well as the national presidential elections.
The mock ballot they are creating gives students who aren't yet old enough a chance to experience what Election Day is like.
I hope the students talk about what they voted for, because it just starts up a really good conversation, and I hope they realize that voting is important.
Come Election Day, Joplin students may not cast real ballots, but the experience could help them in the future.
I tell students all the time that American history and government, world history, geography, all these topics, they're going to have an influence on your day-to-day life for the rest of your life, for everybody.
In Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
And the mock ballots have all the same wording as the Missouri ballot. The students who cast their mock ballots will be asked their grade level for statistical purposes. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The holidays are quickly approaching, which means more deliveries will be made. We'll have a few tips that'll keep you safe from porch pirates stealing holiday shopping. Plus, a look at the forecast with Lindsay Gaffney. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, in Consumer Watch this morning, a new Florida law aims to send porch pirates packing, making the theft of goods above a certain dollar amount a felony. Now, with holiday gift-giving season approaching, Christian Benavides introduces us to one southern Florida homeowner who a doorbell camera captured a pirate in the act.
And he just walked up like he didn't care.
Pinecrest homeowner Donovan Clough's Ring camera captured the brazen daylight theft of one of his package deliveries. Clough posted the video online and found out his neighbors had been targeted too.
In the last 2 months, every house on the street has been a victim of either a car break-in or a porch theft.
A new Florida law in effect this month makes theft of stolen goods worth $40 or more a felony in an attempt to crack down on porch piracy. Data from security.org show package thieves lifted more than $8 billion worth of merchandise in 2023. 44% of Americans reported having a package stolen. 17% said it had happened within 3 months of that survey. Luckily for Clough, getting the word out paid off.
The culprit saw his picture on Facebook and on the news and ended up turning himself in.
Law enforcement relies heavily on doorbell cameras to catch these porch pirates, and many companies take pictures of packages when they leave them.
We've had individuals whose medication actually have been stolen.
Miami Police Public Information Officer Kiera Delva says the department is taking these crimes seriously, especially as the holiday season approaches. To keep pirates at bay, install a doorbell camera and make it clear your property is under surveillance. Bring packages inside promptly. Choose a delivery time when you're home. Request a signature.
If you are comfortable enough to speak with your neighbors, maybe have them be on the lookout for your packages, and that way they can hold on to it for you.
Clough also hopes a little goodwill goes a long way to end piracy.
I would hope that people would have a little more decency than to not steal from their neighbors or the people in their community.
Nevertheless, he's got eyes on the front door. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Pinecrest, Florida.
Well, several states designate porch piracy as a felon, and these state laws mainly target deliveries from companies like Amazon or FedEx. U.S. Postal Service theft is a federal crime. Well, striking Boeing factory workers have voted to reject the company's latest contract proposal, continuing their nearly 6-week work stoppage. The offer included a 35% pay increase over 4 years, bigger bonuses, and improved 401k matches. But it did not restore the traditional pension plan that the union has called for, a sticking point for many workers. Well, Apple and Goldman Sachs have been ordered to pay $89 million by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau over their joint Apple Card failures. Now, the agency is accusing Apple of not sending tens of thousands of customers' disputes over transactions to Goldman Sachs. And it says that when people did send those disputes, Goldman Sachs failed to investigate those claims according to federal guidelines. Now, the CFPB also says the companies misled customers about the card's interest-free payment plans. And McDonald's has stopped selling its quarter pounders at about 1/5 of its locations due to an E. coli outbreak that has sickened nearly 50 people, killing one so far. Now, the company says the slivers of onion used in the sandwiches may be to blame for the outbreak, and they have been removed at the locations that are still selling quarter pounders. The CDC is investigating. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Lindsay with another look at your forecast.
Well, so far, winds are gusting up to 20-25 miles per hour in places like Mount Vernon, Carthage, Iola, Chanute, Yates Center, Fort Scott, Newscast-Oct. So we're starting to see these winds picking up, and they're just going to continue to strengthen over the next several hours. Now, after 9 p.m. is when we're going to expect those thunderstorms to start to push. And isolated thunderstorms and some scattered shower chances. Temperatures only dropping down to mid-70s. By midnight, it's going to be a hot day today, getting up to upper 80s. Now, the amount of rain that we're going to see from some of these thunderstorms, not a ton of accumulation, but 1/10 of an inch in Fort Scott, Garnett, 3/10 of an inch in Iola, 1/4 of an inch in Yates Center and some surrounding counties. But by the time those showers and thunderstorms make it past Joplin, we're really not seeing much accumulation at all, but we are going to see a drop in temperatures as we head into the weekend. So tomorrow, Friday, starting the weekend off on a great note, great amount of sunshine, temperatures in the upper 70s. So overall, it's going to be a great day tomorrow, a little windy still as well, and that continues for the weekend. Now, that is a look at your forecast. It's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. They're up after the break, but first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony Nicopol. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Brett Goldstein of Ted Lasso fame will be here, and we'll talk to him about joining the cast of another popular comedy, Shrinking. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
It's time to celebrate some Thursday birthdays here in the 4 states, starting in Parsons with JJ Sheeby celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday, JJ.
And celebrating double digits birthday number 10, Max Zufata from Frontenac, Kansas.
And also celebrating their birthday today over in Columbus, a happy birthday to Ryan Layson. And believe it or not, that's all the birthdays that we have today. Only three on this Thursday morning. Now, if you would like to submit your birthdays and anniversaries with us, we would love you to do so. Love for this list to be longer. So submit your birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful messages and photos to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen. Now let's head on over to Lindsay for a look at the forecast.
Well, taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, we've still got some clouds out there, but overall it's a great looking morning. Temperatures in the upper 50s right now. Yesterday we got up to about 82 degrees, which didn't quite beat any records, but today we're forecasted to get up to the upper 80s, low 90s. We're definitely going to break some records today. It is going to be a hot one. We've been above average for quite some time, but we do have a cold front moving in later on this evening. We've already had a couple of showers in some of our counties, Mound City and in Girard, a little bit of rain accumulation, but not much, and those showers are out of here by now. Now, as we head through the day, winds start to pick up. Right now they're gusting 20, 25 miles per hour, but they're going to even strengthen more than that, up to 30 miles per hour by 9:30 in the morning, and then 40 miles per hour by 4 p.m. Gets even stronger than that, 45 miles per hour as we head into the evening, just ahead of that cold front that's going to be moving in after 9 p.m. So winds will be pretty strong tonight, and that boundary moves through. They die down right along that boundary, pick up a little bit as we head into the morning hours on Friday, but they die back down by about noon. So we're going to have a light breeze through the weekend, but overall it's going to be much cooler than it is today. Temperatures today getting up to the upper 80s, 88 in Joplin, 89 Miami, Oswego, Parsons, 91 possibly getting up to low 90s, Independence, Sedan, Nowata, Veneta. It is going to be a hot day today until that cold front moves through. And again, it's not moving through until about 9 p.m. tonight. Temperatures only dropping down to mid 70s by midnight. That's 10 degrees warmer than what it was yesterday. And then those isolated showers and thunderstorms continue until about 3, 4 in the morning. So as we move through the day today, these clouds and light showers starting to push out of here by noon, getting into the low 80s. So we're already reaching 80 degrees by noon. And then our highs again, upper 80s, low 90s. Now, later on in the evening is when we're going to start to see that boundary pushing in from Wichita to Kansas City. This is about 8 p.m. Hasn't quite made it into our area until about 9:30. And then we're going to start to see that thunderstorm threat. Now we've got a level 1 out of 5 risk, so that's a marginal risk for severe storms. So we're not looking at a major severe threat. We could see maybe some small hail, maybe, but it is still October, so we're not really expecting a severe threat. But that kind of cuts off through Chanute and then north of Fort Scott. So if you're in the far northwestern counties, you're going to get some stronger storms than the rest of us. But as these storms continue to push further into southeast Kansas, Parsons, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Nevada area, they start to break apart. As you can see, we got more scattered thunderstorms than isolated thunderstorms, and then they'll push into more scattered showers by the time it moves into the Joplin metro. But this is late in the night. This is about midnight, and then it'll continue to move southeast by about 1:30 to 3 a.m., completely clearing out by 4. So we're looking pretty good. Winds have shifted as we head into the weekend, and temperatures drop back down into the 70s. Not a significant drop. This is still 70s is still not average for this time of year. Average is going to be in the mid to upper 60s. So we're still going to be above average after this cold front moves in, but it'll be much nicer than upper 80s. We're going to get down to low 70s on Saturday, upper 70s Sunday, and then back up to the 80s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We've got these isolated storms Wednesday night, and then a cold front tries to move in Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, and it retreats. So we've got a window after about 5 p.m. on Thursday until about midnight, 2 a.m. that we're going to have clear skies, so perfect for trick-or-treating. But then that cold front and rain showers start to push back in after that, and then we're going to have those scattered showers through the rest of the weekend, completely moving in after noon on Saturday. So we're looking good after that, but got a lot of rain chances in the forecast. Now, 2 groundbreaking artists have done an exhibit at the Smithsonian Art Museum.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Now, the Joplin Regional Airport held a full-scale emergency response exercise yesterday. Event organizers say the training puts them on the same level of safety as a bigger metropolitan airport. Now, the exercise is part of ongoing efforts to ensure the readiness of local emergency responders and airport personnel in case of an aviation-related emergency. Pittsburgh community members gathered together to focus on housing needs. Now, the meeting yesterday was an open house forum to gather community input on new housing needs for Pittsburgh. A consulting firm plans to take feedback from the open house, conduct surveys, and put together a new housing assessment recommendation. And this Halloween, registered sex offenders in Missouri will no longer be required to post a sign stating that no candy or treats at this residence. But a U.S. district judge ruled this month that the sign requirement violates the First Amendment by forcing compelled speech. The Jasper County Sheriff's Department says it has a resource on its website that may help families feel better about where they trick or treat this year. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We've got a marginal risk now for some of our northern counties, Coffee County, Anderson County, Lynn County, Woodson, and Allen as well. And that kind of cuts off around Chanute. Now, it's not a severe threat, but we are looking at maybe some stronger thunderstorms as those line of storms moves in after 8 p.m. tonight and continues until about 3 a.m.
All righty, well, we definitely need that rain, so hopefully it'll be a good amount.
Yeah, I'm super happy about it.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Tuscan pork chops in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues.
Plus, a business in Pittsburgh downtown took a bit of a hit when the construction on Block 22. We'll know for a few of them on how they hope to get back on track. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll, of course, see you today at noon.